Ladies and gentlemen, doing a quick tutorial on C++ programming and actually related to doing narrative. So here's like a very simple C++ program I built a few years ago. So basically, it just has a quick NFL statement, so decision making. So pretty much you had the integer was the person's age. So integer is different variables you throw into a program, so you can come up with different ideas, different math calculations. Cout or the output. So basically, I'm telling the person that please key in their age. The person puts their age in with that integer. If they're over 21, they can get in the club. If they're between 17 and 21, they can get in the club, but they can't go in the bar area. And they're under 18, they got to get out. Just saying, this is something that R. Kelly should have came up with. But anyway, main reason for this, a lot of people want to know, okay, how does this relate to gaming? Well, here's the deal. You have decision making right here. And a lot of times when you're building games, you pretty much start off with a very simple text-based game. So, as I promised some people, I'm going to go ahead and do a stream of Zork. Or let's play as Zork. And yes, this is DOS. So I'm going to say open box, see what happens. And of course, this is the very first game like this. Is very cryptic. So I'll say take Now say go to house. This is the original Zork game. Let's see if I can go inside. Okay, so now say move right. Walk forward. So yeah, this is why you gotta really map out what you want to do, because the game has to figure out like exactly. It's the one thing about parsers, which is a pain in the butt. It's like, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to necessarily have it very, very, very open-ended, because people are gonna get lost, confused, and irritated real quick. So now I will say turn. Actually, you know what? Okay, let's see what else if I use leaflet. So you see it's real cryptic. I haven't even done the playthrough, and I'm like, okay, no right turns. Can't do this, can't do that, can't do anything. Left. Okay, so you can't break the board, but you gotta find out what's gonna break the board. As you can tell, I can actually see where a lot of kids who have gotten irritated way back in the day. Like, okay, if you don't have a user guide, you're like, okay, what am I doing? It's like one big giant guessing game. Key point and factor, like I mentioned earlier, why having if then else statement is a good idea to kind of make it multiple choice, because when you got too many options, you can get real lost real quick and that can get really irritating. So word of advice would be have it set up to where you give them a list of choices of where they can go and then go from there, and then build in some few RPG mechanics in there instead of just making the thing completely open world like this, or completely open-ended. So have some boundaries in place so you're not just typing it endlessly or moving endlessly throughout the game itself. Let's see if I can actually open the door. Nope. Break door. Okay. End game. Yeah, blast from the past that wasn't so much of a blast. And yeah. Get an idea of why you want to actually put boundaries and conditions into your program. Otherwise, you have a long, boring program like this. All right, continuing on. So another thing you guys can do is check out some Ascii art, so you don't have that just plain text on the screen. So you may go to a site like Cloud Apps, Hero, blah, 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 to get your Ascii art. So you see the URL there. And then from there, you can simply browse, upload an image. And as a Dragon Ball Z fan, I chose Yamcha. We crop that, bring it down here, and the site will actually convert it to, let's see, we want to say, oops, create from selected area. Now it's Ascii art. So one thing you can do here, you can select the Ascii, copy it, open up a blank notepad file or text file. So I'll go to notepad, hit edit, paste it, and boom, it's saved. Actually, I'm going to do a save as. Make sure it's a .txt file. I already did this earlier, forgot to record it. Just replace it. So now the txt file has been created, so it can be imported in C++. Or, which will make it a lot easier, use the file stream, which I would include here. So it'd be hashtag include fstream.h. That way, if I want to actually go from a file, that makes it way, way easier than what I did here with our brute force, the copy and paste method with my logo, as well as the trophy at the end. So one thing I'll let you guys know what this code is doing. So it's generating the text from Ascii Art that actually is, which actually is going to appear as an image on the screen. And keep in mind, back in the day, people had CRT monitors, so it may look kind of distorted now, but on a CRT, this is a lot clearer than what it is. So here I did a cout statement where I'm like, cout is an output of screen, just plain text. So watch out Piccolo through an energy beam. And then I said next line, after the inline statement, like press 1 to block and press 2 to launch a beam, and then press 3 to hit him with the staff. So you got 3 options. So you try to use your staff against this beam, you're going to get Yamcha, as you saw in the image. And of course, action 1 or 2, you pretty much, hey, number 1, you pretty much blocked it. Number 2, you launch your beam. Anything else? Oops, you fused your Hercule because that was an invalid statement. So of course now you're looking like Hercule. And since I really don't have the time or space to really do all that craziness right now, because I gotta meet with people Sunday and Saturday now, I just did a quick copy and paste of the trophy, so you guys kind of get the gist of what's going on. So Basically, what the code is doing is pretty much generating an image, either brute force in the code itself or from a .txt file that then streams to the screen. There's a screen prompts, an integer, which will actually be the choice of your action between 1, 2, and 3, and then your cn statement, which is pretty much telling the computer, like, hey, this is your input from the keyboard. So your action of 1, if someone does this case select statement, so it's if the action equals 3, you got young child, because hitting someone with a staff that comes with an energy beam is like going to a gunfight with a knife. You're going to get on. So see out statement is, hey, you got young child and you're dead. Your energy goes down, and energy is actually another integer that's right here, which pretty much tells you how much energy you have. So energy gauge is just at 20 for this demonstration. It drops to 0 once you're dead to pretty much end the game a lot faster. And of course, the case select statement is 1, 2, keeping it very simple, but you guys can make this type of case select statement a little more complex. You're trying to do the turn-based fighting engine you have in Final Fantasy or Pokemon. That's kind of what inspired this. So I replaced Pokemon with Dragon Ball Z characters, went from one anime to another. And yeah, hopefully that kind of helped explain how you can make the thing a little bit more vibrant, a little more expressive than just saying walk forward, walk left, go right, pick up this, pick up that without any images or any type of selection. And here, there's actually a boundary of, oh, guess what? You can only type in numbers between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you tell the user only go from 1 and 3. So you're creating boundaries so your user doesn't get lost and constantly goes off over and over and over again. And if someone picks a number that's outside the boundaries you want, you got this out here as an error catcher to tell them to stop. You're done. You won't be on the screen for like 10, 20 hours trying to not do anything. You pretty much do the task, create it in the game itself, and then you're done. You're not going to be in an infinite loop because boundaries exist, so you don't be wandering mindlessly on end. Hopefully this makes some sense, and yeah. Okay, after showing you that kind of very, very, very rough example, I decided to go back to the Internet Archives and play around with some CRS adventure games, which are a lot more user-friendly and let you actually do things like use arrow keys and actually type in messages. And since you have a graphics on the screen, you actually have a better idea what's going on. And actually include some boundaries so you're not running around trying to figure out what to do. There's actually some boundaries here so you won't get totally lost, which makes this very, very more useful. As you can see here, I'm using the arrow keys, and I actually can move properly like a regular video game. So this is the evolution with adventure games. It went from text on the screen to actual characters moving on the screen. So basically, this is similar to what you have seen in games like Mario 64, where Mario 64 was a thing. So you see it's way more interactive. Oops. Can't do that at this point, so circle back and you can walk around. So let me see what happens if I type in find key. Alright, so I actually follow directions, but this time they actually have parameters and boundaries. Boundaries I mentioned earlier, so I hit restart game. So I'll say find key, or actually I'll go in this direction. So the arrow keys. Actually, to do something, so I'll say stop. Okay. For key. So here you actually have an interactive world that you go through. So it's another way across it. So you can tell here there's a way more code in this than I thought there was going to be. I thought it was going to be a point and click adventure, and yeah, this lets you know exactly how far something has evolved. And my apologies, I went a little bit further than I should have. But one thing you know is a full world's been fleshed out. More interaction is made. Boundaries are in place. So it's a search tree. So it's still a lot of stuff. So let's see if there's anything in the mud. Fortunately, of all the walkthrough, you have no idea how to get past a lot of these arbitrary obstacles. So now I'm going to go up. So once again, another boundary. We got pretty much play. Let's find something. So it is something you gotta do with the rights later on. So we're kind of going pre-Zelda. So I typed in swim to see if we could do that. So that's one command that did work, was the swim command. So you use the swim command to get past the troll and continue going. So yeah, this is actually more like Breath of the Wild. Before Breath of the Wild was really a thing, and the fact it's on PSP basically means you could have done that on the PSP, which is very interesting. Let's see if I can open the door. No, 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 no. Fake Zelda sound. All right. And this is a big map. So there ain't new obstacles. Sometimes you see clues, so let's see if this makes any difference. Much better than Zork and crazy thing I was trying to make up. So yeah, this kind of give you the gist of it. Right now, I am lost about a strategy guide, but yeah, let you know how these games have evolved a lot over time. And let me go ahead and pause the video. I can probably do something as well. Let's see. Let's see, lower bucket. Some interactivity. See if this does anything. So I got the game to actually do something. But as you can see, there actually are some rules and CN statements already built into the game. So now I'll go ahead and let's say pause and call it a day. Yes, this is exactly what you think it is. It's a younger version of me playing around with the Dreamcast and hacking it and getting the software and code to actually run on said Dreamcast and C++. So basically I use a DOSBox emulator to pretty much emulate the x86 processor within the Dreamcast Hitachi processor, and from there I actually got some code to run. But unfortunately, due to the hardware limitations, especially with the emulation layer on top of it, I'm pretty much limited to like an older 8-bit PC from the 80s. So you can see here I got the cout statements to work properly, even with the Ascii Art, so I got my little logo on there. So it's a text-based game. Pretty much you answer A, B, or C, D, or sorry, A, B, C, D, E. You get a proper answer, and then from there you get different reaction on the screen. So I kind of let you guys watch this. So I started typing some stuff in. So I said, okay, boom. I type in one answer, and either I get plus or minus points added to my score, and corresponding text goes to the screen. And yes, this is my nerdy game room with the old school Genesis games and even my old PS2. But anyway, yes, so basically I'm just playing around with this, and yes, I threw in a whole bunch of lifting memes and bro terms in there. It is what it is, because I'm not just a computer nerd, I'm also into yoga and powerlifting, so of course I had to throw in some gym memes in there. And last but not least, yes, that is a CRT television that I'm using connected to the Dreamcast to get that pure 8-bit 80s glory while doing it. Anyway, now that's done, I think I'll go ahead and show you guys some stuff that's a little bit more modern. And of course, like I thought, I'd go ahead and close out with some more simple tools or more widely available tools you can do on your Switch. Of course, you have the Mario Maker, which lets you create your own
mini games and levels. And if you're a PC user and have Windows, there's also something known as Mega Man Maker, which functions the same way as Mario Maker, lets you make Mega Man levels. So here, pretty much the same idea. And also there's a program known as Box Maker that you get on Steam for PC. Works the same way as Mario Maker and it's $5. There's also RPG Maker that you make your own RPGs from scratch, and even level editors for Zelda on a DOS game known as Zelda Classic. I repeat, the name of that game is Zelda Classic. It's on DOS, Windows, and Linux, so give that a try. And of course, Nintendo's produced Game Builder Garage for Switch, lets you pretty much code and design your games with and without code. Nice addition. Not to mention Switch, they also have a basic program and a Fuse programming language as well as you can use. So those are some options. So yeah, if you're on a PC or a Switch, you can actually build games for your Switch and then share with other people.
So people don't get completely lost, let me actually search for the items I was mentioning earlier. So you have Zelda Classic, which I mentioned earlier is for multiple platforms. This is a video format, might as well show you what's what. So you go to www.zeldaclassic.com. You'll now have access to it. Even contest people that build their own dungeons, but yeah, let's give you an idea. It's basically Legend of Zelda. It lets you pretty much create your own content for it. Some more information is right here. So people have actually made their own dungeons, overworlds, and completely new games for it. So it has the graphical style of Zelda for the NES as well as Link to the Past. So something cool to check out. Another one would be Mega Man Maker. Which you can get at megamanmaker.com. Lets you make your own Mega Man levels, very similar to Mario Maker. Even though the assets are pretty much restricted to the NES quality, but still, they have a few options that are actually added to the later games, not movies. Get my media mixed up. But yeah, here's just some screenshots of it. Let you know the user interface looks like, so some of those you guys can kind of play around with. So you can drag and drop assets to the screen to get different things to happen. You can even play with other people online once you create your levels or share their levels online. So yeah, so another thing to check out will be megamanmaker.com. Alright, now this officially ends the video. Please check out NSBE and talk to you guys later on, or so to the NSBE in their PCI chapter. Speaking of NSBE, the Detroit Professional chapter will be having a talk on cryptocurrency and actually crypto mining this Thursday, December 9th, 2021 at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Have a link in the description. Talk to everyone later and have a good night.